Hey everyone, Dev here, and this is my second Laloon video. The first one was concentrating mainly on my Town Hall 11 army. So what I wanted to do was just show some approaches from a Town Hall 10 and a Town Hall 9. So we'll start with Jack doing his raids here, and looking at this is a pretty high-end Town Hall 10 base. Got some Infernos, got the air defences sitting nice and firmly entrenched, although Jack's actually going to do something quite good, and that is use not necessarily Laloon, but he's going to use a Golem and some Wizards and the King and the Queen first to take out these two air defences here, which is quite nice. The idea with Laloon is you want to try and take out as many of the air defences as possible before dropping your troops. And also taking a look at that that Inferno there, it looks like that is the obvious one to be going for. He may run into some trouble with the Queen, and there could be some CC troops to deal with his ground crew as well. So sit tight and we'll just watch Jack's approach just to see how effective it is. So he starts off with the Golem and Wizards to try and clear a funnel for his King and Queen, which is fairly standard stuff. And I guess this type of attack sort of fits in that mold that Supercell's going for, which is a multi-phase. Oh wait, here come the Giants. Not going to be a bother. Multi-phase type attack that the Supercell creators want us to start using rather than just spamming mass troops. So poison to help deal, and some rage as well for the king. Still not making any progress on those air defenses just yet, although as soon as he pops the ability here, things start to take off. So the king goes for the air defense. Queen takes out the X-bow. Queen's under fire from the Inferno tower. Still got the ability though, so he pops that nice and early, and away we go, taking out that Inferno. So now we're into phase 2, and his phase 2 attack is going to come from this flank, noting that he's still got this bomb tower, which is maybe going to draw something off. He's only got 3 loons in his army, and I suppose he's got 1 in his CC as well. So a slightly different army composition to what I would have used with the same amount of space. Queen eventually goes down courtesy of the X-bows, and in come the Hounds and some Skeletons there set on air. So he hasn't got he's got 1 poison left. You might want to think about using it, but of course when the pups pop, the pups will go for the Skeletons in due course. So he's managed to kill off the Queen there as well with some poison, and the pups, which is useful. It was a dragon in the CC. Alright, okay. Probably needed an extra hound, but we're about to see that it's not really going to matter too much. Alright, so a pretty good start to the attack, but he's now out of any meat, and you can see as we've sped up that the archer towers would just pick off a loon at a time. The X-bow is the main danger. No more loons left. He's left with a dragon and a jump spell and 2 pups. So a good start for Jack here, a novel approach. He obviously went away and worked on it because the next video had a big improvement on that idea. I'm quite a fan of using the King and Queen to take out an air defense or 2. We'll see a video a bit later on of alternate methods as well. So overall, perhaps not profitable in the dark department, but I guess when you're learning something, you've got to be prepared to take the hits. So the next one is obviously reading that one. It's worked this time. So look at this base. It's another one of these ring bases that a ground crew typically will struggle with, particularly Valks, unless you sort of take out the corners and then drive your Valks through here. But this time he's seen 2 air defenses here and an air defense there and an air defense there. Note he's still got his Golem. I hope he's taken a Hound in his arsenal this time rather than a CC Dragon. So here comes the Golem, King and Queen immediately afterwards. And he's also used the King here to take out the Queen, which is another nice little bonus. Good little 2-for-1 there. So a jump spell, and he's hoping to get into that air defense, obviously. Some Wizards to chip away at the outside, but not quite effective there. The mortar and the archer tower picked them off. Good thing about Jack, though, is he's a lot more patient than I am. That's something I need to learn when I do my raids and my war attacks, is to be just a little more patient. So there you can see his king's jumped in and he's taken out a Tesla as well. Again, Teslas are a danger to a Laloon. Alright, so the queen has come around this side, and now it's time for Jack to start deploying the hound and loons. There we go. So he's gone with the loons first, giving a bit of lead time, and then the hounds, hoping to time it so that they get in front, drawing out the traps as well. And you can see that he's used sort of two groups targeting one air defense each, rather than dropping them all in one space. And he's used all his rages to try and steer the hounds and the loons into the core. All he's got left now is a heal. That Expo going to town, but obviously the hounds are tanking for that. And an Inferno Tower on multi, starting to target all those bits and pieces that are starting to come through off the pups, so they sort of went down in a blaze of glory. But you can see that the loons are following that path like the hogs would, following those defences. Those loons just snuck up, and now they've managed to take out that Inferno. He's still got a hound up, which is useful, but there's only sort of that wizard tower and that archer tower that are going to provide any real resistance. Queen eventually goes down to a well-placed bomb. We'll speed it up. Note that those skeletons there were a threat, but his pups did take them out. So this one was a good one for Jack, up against Jack from Bangladesh Army. How about that? So it turns out that Jack is also very good at making bangers and mash, because he mashed the banger's base. I'm so funny. Alrighty. Of course, he's in Champs too, so he's got a bonus there of 225 gold, 225 pink. Moving on to, oops, wrong one. Moving on to someone that we don't see a lot of. We've got Frizz. And this time he is a Town Hall 9, looking to take out a base with Laloon. This is an ideal base. We've got some interesting things. 2 of the Expos are on ground. 1 is up. This here is an Inferno on single. Doesn't tend to do much against Laloons because there are so many loons. Once it takes out a hound, yeah, okay, that's a threat. But once it takes out the hounds, the individual pups and the loons just don't get taken out quick enough by those Infernos. What Frizz is going to do is he's going to go straight in. He's going to use all his hounds and all his loons to drive in as a wedge, just demonstrating the pure power that is behind a successful Laloon attack. Mind you, he's got to take out the queen, hoping to pick her up by taking her with splash damage. Hasn't quite worked this time. Now, okay, so the first Tesla went down and then the mortar. That was enough splash damage to take the queen down. And you can see the mortars, they did fire up, but they didn't really do anything. And again, the black bombs just taking out one at a time. So, again, this is what Supercell wants us to avoid, is just dropping our troops and walking away, aka the Nick approach. Nick, a member of our clan, is famous for the spray and walk away style. He eventually deploys his king to help clean up, and we'll just fast forward this because you can see most of the defenses are down, all the air defenses are down at least, and it's just clean up from here. So the Laloon at Town Hall 9 is really powerful. He was able to take out a mid-level Town Hall 10 with ease, as long as he picks the right base, of course, and deploys his troops correctly. So corner huts, and done. Right, next one we're going to look at, got a couple of minutes here, is Chalant. Chalant, as my regular viewers will know, is a bit of a bit more advanced on the Laloons than us. And he's looking as a Town Hall 10 to stomp all over a mid-level Town Hall 9. Note that he's taking some lightning and a quake in his arsenal this time. So he will zap quake 1 air defense, and he's also using a king and a queen to take out the one that is closest to the edge here. So similar themes, slight variations. He's got 1 healer, which seems odd, and he's also got 2 hounds and 1 in the CC. So he's using less hounds, but picking on smaller bases. Luckily, the collectors were quite full because he's already got 1,080, which should be enough to make a profit on this particular raid if he gets a star. So the hound has gone in. He's sort of put 2 down rather than 1 or all. And using the haste just to get into the core. Still got a rage up. that one last air defence. Again, timing that last hound release pretty well, just to tank so those loons do the job. And there you have it. I mean, it's once you get it, the Laloon can be quite powerful. Just got to pick your base and remember the basics. Try and pick off an air defense, take out the queen, and make sure that your loons go the right way. And the way they're going to go is pathed quite well, because you can actually pick the defenses out. Probably not so much in a raid compared to war. Obviously in a raid you've only got 30 seconds or so to pick your base. Okie dokie, pretty profitable as well. And yep, okay, let's do one more. We'll find one that I did recently, and not 100%, but this one was a fairly tricky, well advanced looking Town Hall 11. Well, I say advanced, actually, on second thought, it's actually only advanced in the wall department. So this one doesn't even have an eagle artillery. And I couldn't get to any of these air defences easily, so I decided to go with my Laloon part first and see what my king and queen could pick up a bit later on. So 2 hounds on 1 and a squad, so about half of my loons. And a rage to get them in there. 2 baby dragons. Yeah, I'm not sure. The baby dragon works best when they're raged up, so you want to avoid using other air units at the same time. Again, the second squad goes in, freezing up the first inferno, and pretty confident that my loons will get to the second one, but they take a detour, taking the scenic road, flying straight past that inferno, which was quite frustrating. Kind of hoping they would go in. Maybe if my haste was closer to them, it would have pulled them in. But you can see that the hound here has tanked quite well, and the loons are still getting my percentage up. Right, so the next step was to try and grab something out of this raid, hoping for that town hall. So here was where I sort of thought, yep, can't really get in this way because of these walls, these flash fancy V12 walls. So I wanted my king and queen to come in from that side there. So with nothing much more to show, just speed it up. Okay, so the king and the queen acting as a double act, bit of Bonnie and Clyde, and triggering some loons from their CC. So 2 baby dragons and some loons, rather odd CC combination. You can see though that my minions have come in for cleanup. My king and queen get in there, and the percentage is now starting to climb. So all in all, a fairly mid-level profit raid for me here. The queen standing on that wall has managed to start picking off that town hall too. So even if the Laloon doesn't quite work out for you, there is still potential to do some real damage and get some real loot. Alright team, well this is my second Laloon video. I'm pretty confident that I'll be making some more in due course. As always, give me a like, put some comments in, sensible comments please, of course, I'll just ignore the stupid ones. And as always, hit that subscribe button and spread the word. Alright, thanks for watching. Dev out.